Barbara Lamb is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She's also a certified hypnotherapist and a regression therapist in California. She specializes, though, in regression therapy with people who experience encounters with extraterrestrial beings. She's also a very accomplished author with landmark books such as Meet the Hybrids, Crop Circles Revealed, and 2 editions of Alien Experiences. And she joins us now. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, nice to be with you.
Oh, it's great having you with us. I've been looking forward to speaking with you for some time.
Oh.
I wanted to speak on, well, one topic mainly hybrids, but then we'll branch out later and have a look at crop circles and alien experiences. But firstly, the hybrids. And the first question is how prevalent is the hybrid program on this planet?
You know, that's very difficult to say in terms of numbers, but I will say that for me personally, gradually I am meeting more and more people, one by one, who think that they are, and it sounds like they are, ET human hybrids. So I personally know, I would say 16 individuals whom I feel convinced are hybrids. And then that's just me knowing them. And there may be many, many more around the world. And I suspect that there are many more because some of the benevolent beings, we think of them as extraterrestrial beings out there in space on different planets, that some of them are very, very concerned about planet Earth and concerned about humanity and all the difficulties and troubles and negative things going on here. And they look at us kind of like they're little brothers and sisters who need a little help because a lot of those species out there are so much more advanced than we are. They're much older, probably by thousands of years, maybe even millions. And so they've gone through a lot of the things that we have gone through here on Earth, or that we are going through. And they know that there's a better way to deal with a civilization. So therefore, because of their concern, some of these species are making a point of hybridizing certain human individuals so that those hybrids can really help here on Earth. The hybrids that I know all are very clear that they have a mission to help raise the consciousness of humanity. And it's very interesting about these hybrids because they are people who were born here from a regular mother in the regular fashion that we give birth. And they grow up in families and they look totally human. They look like their families and so forth. And so they can move through school systems and throughout society, you know, very comfortably. Nobody looks at them oddly or anything. It's not as if there's an extraterrestrial being who looks really different walking among us. It's just one of our own people. But they happen to have been given extraterrestrial genetics, and that's why we call them hybrids.
Yeah.
So anyway, these people realize from a very, very early age that they have abilities that most of the people, well, all of the people around them don't have. I'm thinking mostly of their psychic abilities. You know, they can do telepathic communication. They are empathic in the sense that they can be with a person and know what's going on inside that person physically, like what kind of difficulties they might be having. They're very psychic in all of the psychic abilities. Some of them are clairsentients. They just have a sense of knowing everything without being what we think of as know-it-alls. Um, and they all have healing ability to actually do physical healing with other people. Some of these hybrids have specialties beyond that too, like communicating really accurately with animals. And so, anyway, they have a range of psychic abilities. Some of them channel information from the other side.
Hmm.
Some of them channel information from these space beings who have helped to hybridize them. And so they're just very quietly, modestly going about their lives, teaching private courses and having private appointments with people to counsel and advise them and help them to develop spiritually.
Yep.
So they're part of a really large movement. And you ask how many people, I don't know, but I am certainly sure that there are hybrid people all over the world.
Well, I'm finding that I've spoken to quite a few hybrid people over the last few months, and
Good.
I'm finding that I'm being contacted. Like, I think once they're seeing others step out and speak about themselves being hybrids, more are coming out and gaining the confidence to come out and speak about it.
Yes. Yes, you know, it's a wonderful service that you do in letting the people who watch your program, letting them know more and more about this. And that's how it happens, I find, with hybrids and also with many, many people who may not be hybrids, but they've had a lifetime of occasional encounters with extraterrestrial beings, so that every time that I give an interview like this or give a lecture, which I give many of at a number of conferences, um, anytime I'm doing anything sort of public, shall we say,
Hmm.
um, there's always somebody in the audience, maybe more than one, who will come forward afterwards or call me afterwards and say, wow, you know, what you said reminded me of experiences that I've had that I remember just a little bit about. And but they were very impactful. They really made an impression. And now I'm putting things together and I realize that maybe I too have been really having these extraterrestrial
Yeah.
encounters.
Yeah.
And it's very helpful for people when they realize that that has been going on for them. Because a lot of people have had extraterrestrial encounters, but they didn't realize what it was. And what they would be aware of would be just a very few moments at the beginning of the experience when they're visited by
Yeah.
some beings, frequently in their bedroom at night, but it can also happen anywhere. And it can happen when a person has a very vivid sighting of a UFO, especially if it's within, oh, a few hundred feet of them. Um, that those are very impactful experiences. And what people often don't realize is that when they have a sighting like that, there's a whole encounter that follows their seeing the UFO, an encounter that they have had no conscious recollection of.
Hmm.
So when people have had really vivid sightings like this, and also visitations in their room or wherever they might be, and especially if they've had a period of missing time, an hour or two that they just can't account for, they just don't know where it went. These are sort of typical clues that people have had these experiences. So, what I have found as a therapist is that a person who's been wondering for a while, sometimes for decades actually,
Hmm.
wondering if they have had these experiences because they've had these clues of possibly having these experiences, that when they will do the hypnotic regression work that I do and some others do, um, and they find out the details of one of those experiences, it actually provides a lot of relief for
Right.
them.
Yep. Yep.
That what they've been wondering about and what they've been sort of harboring in the subconscious part of their mind all these years, now it's clear, now it's known. And that's actually a relief for the person.
Mm.
And then it gives the person a chance to learn more about it if they want to in various ways, and to integrate that material into their life rather than it sort of irritating them, bothering them from the subconscious part of their mind.
Yeah. I just wanted
So
to.
what you're doing in bringing out some of this information to people is a really good service, Dean.
Okay, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I wanted to ask, in your research, do you have any indication of why certain people are selected? Because is it because they're part of a generational family line of people who have been taken?
Yes, I think there are more than one reason. The most commonly held reason is that these encounters seem to run in a family line, like with a grandparent, a parent, the adult now, and then the adult's children or even grandchildren. And that doesn't mean that everyone in the family, everyone in that family line is having these experiences. Usually it's just one or two people in each generation. But the beings, the extraterrestrial beings, many of them seem to be really, really interested in our genetics and what gets passed on from one generation to another. And then I think there's another category of people who are taken for these experiences too. And in many cases, a lot of the cases that come to me, um, the people may not have a family lineage of extraterrestrial encounters, but they're people who have at least great potential
Hmm.
for spiritual development. Because some of these beings are very, very advanced spiritually, and they want to help humans here on Earth to develop more spirituality, not religiosity,
Yeah.
but spirituality, being aware of the great source, the great creator source of all of us, of those beings and us and all life in the cosmos, and to honor that source and to realize, as these beings so frequently say, that we are all one.
Hmm.
And you see, on Earth, we do not emphasize we are all one, do we? Um,
No.
in fact, it's just the opposite. We are a civilization of great polarity. For instance, it's emphasized my team over your team in all of the sports,
Hmm.
my political party against your party, my country against your party, my race as separate from your race. So, in other words, all of these divisions and differences are emphasized a tremendous amount here in the world. And these beings say, you know, it really isn't that way. You are not separate individuals, different from each other. Even members of the same family or the same race, the same cultural group. Um, you think of yourselves as individuals, but really you're all part of the one great life. So that means us people
Hmm.
being one with each other, and us people being one with all of those many beings out there in space.